Hey Hunters, HaloZoo here for a quick video about the Psion Update UA. So we're getting to see Psion once again in preparation for whatever Dark Sun is going to bring, because I suspect this is coming with Dark Sun. There was already some suggestions that there was some Dark Sun stuff coming with Psion. Then we got more hints, as in very overt hints with the apocalyptic, Dark Sun subclasses. And now we're back with Psion again. So do have this little blurb talking about it. But proficiency stuff, it's still what it is. Also, I'm just going to be talking about the base Psion and the disciplines in this video. We'll do the spells and subclasses in their own videos. So nothing special thus far. So the changes, psionic power has been tweaked around a bit. So they've tweaked some of the stuff, and they listed the telekinetic propel and telepathic connection here. Apparently, they didn't have extra cantrips before. I don't know why. Actually, let me check that. Oh, yeah, they had delayed cantrip progression. That was the change. They had artificer cantrip progression. I forgot about that. Yeah, much better. Sonic Energy Dice are the same. It just looks ridiculous when it's actually shown like that. It's like, wait, 12d12? It's like, oh, wait, that is actually right. Sonic modes are gone. Some Sonic Discipline stuff does kind of take its place. Disciplines, you now get 2 to start off with, but only gain 1 later. Sonic Restoration, it's redesigned to quickly regain Sonic Energy Dice. Sonic Reserves just lets you keep a minimum. It's a new feature, so it's basically roll initiative with less than this. You now start with this amount. And Enkindled Life Force is a bit more flexible, and it does not expend extra Sonic Energy Dice. Nice. Psionic Power is Psionic Power. Nothing big over here as well. So let's look at Telekinetic Propel. This one didn't change too much, I don't think. Basically, bonus action. Choose a larger, smaller creature in 30 feet. Has to make a strength save or be moved 5 feet towards you. Basically, you can push or pull it 5 feet. Really don't like how they word forced movement. Massive downgrade from 4th edition, but oh well. That's just the oversimplification to complexity. To the point it's more complex of 5e. Though I still wish it was a slide instead where you can move them any direction, but oh well. Then, as an alternative, you can expend psionic energy and increase the distance by 5 times the number rolled. Fair. There's still a slight chance you get the same amount. However, chances are you're not going to get that, and it only gets smaller. Like, I don't know the exact specifics, but it's like half of 33%-ish. This would be like 8.5-ish, or not 8.5, or 16.5-ish, I think. Yeah, 16.5-ish. I'm not going to say the actual numbers. I don't know them. So it goes from that quickly over to 12.5% to 10% to whatever the D12 one is. But yeah, it's fine. Telepathic connection, though. Oh boy, is that a massive facelift. So the base telepathy is 30 feet. Thank you. so much. I have no idea who the crazes thought having it be 10 feet was fine. It's not. It really isn't. It's like, why would you ever... How are you ever going to use that effectively? Like, there is very, very little reason to ever need telepathy in 10 feet. So, 30 feet, a lot more to work with. It's not amazing, mind you, but I think that's at least a lot more fair, where you can actually use it. Then you can expend a psionic energy die, and roll it, and it increases by a number of feet equal to 10 times the number. So you still get the range increase for an hour. And the first time you do this after each long rest, it's not expended. So, yeah, it's nice. Certainly a lot better than it was before, where it's not like, oh, well, you need to spend the psionic energy to make this usable at all, unless you're the telepath. Instead, it's, oh, all psions can actually use their telepathy now. To some extent, it's just that the telepath, it's even better on telepath, which I think is what it should be. Like, you're not required to spend the resource to make it usable. Instead, it has a decent baseline, but you can make it better. So, nailed it there. Spellcasting is spellcasting. Still get... you're still a learned caster, not prepared, like they say. Still hate that change. And you still get psionic spellcasting, which makes sense here. They're the Psion. They should be psionic. Then we get subtle telekinesis, so the 2 cantrips you start with is a lie. You get Mage Hand for free. It's fine. I think it's fair. Like, yeah, you get Mage Hand for free. Then we get Psionic Discipline at second level. So you start with 2, and then you get 1 more at 5, 10, 13, and 17. Fine. It works. Subclass at 3rd level. I hate it, but that's how 5e works. So, fair. Ability score improvement, aka feats. Or general feats. Yeah. It's fine. Then level 5, Psionic Restoration. Basically, you can spend a minute, and at the end, you regain all expended psionic energy dice. Once again, giving warlocks a massive middle finger, because apparently, wizards just cannot let them get around their stupid spell slot, like, starvation. It's bad. Can we not get something like it where it's like, oh yeah, you just spend a minute and get the whole resource back? As what Magical Secrets does. Or not Magical Secrets. Just the feature, you know what I'm talking about. Magical Cunning. Just make that the default for Magical Cunning, please. Wizards. Thank you very much. Don't get me wrong. This is good. But my gosh, could they stop screwing over Warlock? And insulting them. It's bad. Level 7, you get Psionic Surge. So, you can push your Psionics further. After you roll a Psionic Energy die, you can expend a hit point die, or a hit die, and treat any roll of 1, 2, or 3 as a 4. It's good, though I will say I am not the biggest fan of the hit dice stuff. I kind of feel like maybe this should be you just treat 1s as 2s. I think would be fine, so it's like, it basically removes the ability to roll a nat 1 on Telekinetic Propel. I think that would be fine. It would weaken the feature a bit, but I think I'm fine with that, honestly. I don't feel like the hit die as a resource should be taken up by the Psion. I think between spell slots and psionic energy, you've got enough going on. You don't need the added hit die as a cost. That said, I do prefer it to be pulled back like this rather than the prevalence it had before. So there's less of it, which I appreciate. I'm still not sure they should have any by default. Keep in mind, by default in the base class. But that's my 2 cents. I think it's fine as it is, but I still think it should be saved for a dedicated class. Then, level 18, we have Psionic Reserves. When you roll initiative, you regain up to 4 psionic energy. So basically, you just have a minimum of 4. It's fine. I'd prefer a feature that's just, oh, you always regain X amount instead, but it's fine. It works well enough. And it's not wasting your capstone. Then we get Epic Boon at 19. It's Epic Boon. Level 20, though, we get Enkindled Life Force as the capstone. So, once per turn, when you roll 1 or more psionic energy die for a feature, you can expend 1 or 2 hit dice, and add that many free psionic energy dice. So basically, it's a cool feature. Like, on its own, I think it's really cool. As another hit die as resource on base Psion, I'm not the biggest fan of still. But I think at the very least, this is cool. I just don't know if the Master of Mental Power should have this sacrifice hit dice stuff. I don't think it fits fully with psionics, or at least the psionic caster. I think this should be saved for something else. For example, if they were to do Battle Mind as a default class that uses psionic energy dice, but doesn't have a second resource, I think them using hit dice as a resource would be fine. Here, though, you've got enough going on with spellcasting that I don't think they need it as an extra thing to do. But that's my 2 cents. Psionic Disciplines. Biofeedback and Destructive Thoughts. You can use more dice at once. Okay. Bolstering Precognition, renamed from Swift Precognition, is now a D20 test buff. Okay. Then Devilish Tongue, Expanded Awareness, and Observant Mind, renamed from Tactical Mind, because kind of weird that they overlapped with a Battlemaster feature, or maneuver, specifically. These no longer expend the energy die on if you fail still. So they only are expended on a success. Great. Then Sharpened Mind is a new discipline, while Ego Whip has been moved to being a spell. We'll get to that in the spells part. That's going to have a lot for us to talk about, let's say. But anyway, speaking of a lot to talk about, biofeedback. I am going to get this out of the way now. Why the crazes did these school exclusivities remain? You are not a wizard. This is Psion. Psion has a more tailored spell list that is more specific with what you get. There should not be school exclusivities like this. This should be cut entirely. Please, make these generic, universally applicable benefits. I don't want to see the Schools Matter return. That should be saved for Wizard. Thank you very much. Now, I will mention this again when it matters. However, in general, blanket statement, I hate these fundamentally, and they need to be reworked. That requirement, it does not belong on Psion. You just don't have the variety of certain schools to make these work. Even if you do get 2 spell schools for each, it's still bad. So, biofeedback, specifically, it's actually kind of fine, though there's a weird quirk that we'll get into. Basically, you can expend Psionic Energy die up to your Intelligence modifier, roll them, gain that much temporary hit points, plus your Intelligence modifier. Now, one weird quirk is that realistically you still want to use just 1 die per spell, because that gets you more temporary hit points overall. It takes... Now, granted, I think it's alright as like, well, if I need a lot at once, then I can just spend a bunch at once. I do lose a decent chunk of temporary hit points, but at least I have them all now. So there is that aspect of like an oh crap button. However, I would still... It is kind of unfortunate that it's still more efficient to just have it as, oh, well, you only want to use them 1 at a time. I would say maybe make it where it scales off of the number expended, maybe. So it's like, well, if you expend 3 dice, you get 3 temporary hit points. It's roughly the same, except it removes that, well, you want to use 1 at a time to optimize the amount of temporary hit points. But I think as it is, it's fine. It could just be better, in my opinion. And of course, it would be better if it was on some schools you had a good variety of regularly. Bolstering precognition. Basically, when you cast a abjuration or divination spell, spend a psionic energy die, roll it, and choose a creature in 60 feet. They have a bonus to their next d20 test equal to the number rolled. It's a nice one, but once again, not a fan of the exclusivity. It's kind of just there. You're not going to be using these a lot, so there's not a lot of chances to use it. It's fine. It's just, I cannot recommend it right now on Psion, because you're just not guaranteed to cast that many of those spells. It's like, if you can reliably say, oh yeah, I'm casting abjuration, divination spells all the time, it's fine. As it is, though, it's kind of just there. Destructive Thoughts, then. When you cast a conjuration or evocation spell that forces them to make a saving throw, which unfortunately is not as many as you might like. This is one where those spell schools come to haunt you. The biggest problem you're running into is there's not a lot of conjuration spells you have that require saving throws. In general, conjuration doesn't usually require saving throws that often. Similarly, with evocation, while there's a bunch, you don't have that many. A lot of your damaging spells are actually enchantment and transmutation spells, as well as just not evocation. And a lot of your early ones are actually attack roll spells. This severely limits the utility of this feature. So it's really hurt by the spell schools in particular, and just the spread of spells you get on Psion anyway, where if you had more stuff like Fireball and Lightning Bolts and Shatter, this would be fine. But you don't really have that. Actually, they might have Shatter. I don't remember off the top of my head. But point remains, though, it's kind of a weird one where it's a bit limited by that spell list and not being a wizard or sorcerer. It's like, what a wonderful thing if you had a better spell list for it. As for the effect itself, basically, you expend up to int mod psionic energy dice, roll them. Creature takes psychic damage equal to the total rolled plus your intelligence modifier. Once again, we have this. Well, you really want to use them once at a time if you can, because otherwise you're going to run into some issues with inefficiency. And it does this regardless of the saving throw. So that's actually a lot of damage, though I question this being psychic, because evocation and conjuration are traditionally not often associated with doing a lot of psychic damage. So not only is it kind of bad because of the spell schools, it also feels a bit like a flavor fail. I'd rather this be force-based rather than psychic, but it is what it is. It's not great, but barring the spell schools, I think it's okay. I'd still rather have other stuff. I think it needs more of a full rework, but we'll get into more of why that is later. But I think as like a damage buff, I think it's fine. Maybe make it you can reroll up to intelligence modifier, or like replace a die roll with what you rolled with the psionic energy die, maybe. I think that would actually be really cool. Is like, okay, well, you can roll X amount of psionic energy dice and replace damage dice with those rolls and remove the saving throw stipulation. Like, it's just any spell that deals damage, which also leads to some interesting gameplay with when you get the D12s, because then it might be, oh, now I can push my damage even further rather than just, oh crap, I rolled a nat 1. Let me roll some better numbers. Devilish Tongue, Expanded Awareness, and later on, let me go over to it. Observant Mind. These are just tied to a certain action. Devilish Tongue is Influence. Search for Expanded Awareness. And Observant Mind is Study. And it's just like, oh yeah, roll Psionic Energy, die, add it to the result. If you still fail, it's not expended. It's good. They're all nice. They're a bit niche utility things in comparison, but granted, I would take them in a heartbeat over the school-specific ones right now. Except maybe this one, in Insinuation. This one is maybe the best one because it actually works out well. However, I still think it should not be an exclusive. The exclusivity just, it's too annoying. But at the very least, this one is enchantment and illusion spells, which you do have a decent chunk of. You do get a decent amount of them. So there is that. And also, this is also a spell that requires saving throw ability, but a lot of these are. So unlike Conjuration and Evocation, which don't consistently have saving throws, especially with the ones you get, here it's like, oh yeah, well, almost all of them, like actually, like nearly all of them will have a saving throw. But anyway, when they have to make a saving throw, you can expend a psionic energy die, roll it, and then penalize half of that number from their roll rounded up. So, starting out, that would be with the D6. You're subtracting 1 to 3 from their roll. Just decent, but then it goes to 1 to 6 later on, which is pretty darn good. Definitely a nice ability, though I wish it was available to every spell school, rather than just enchantment and illusion. But, oh well. And we got Inerrant Aim. Basically, make an attack roll and miss, roll a psionic energy die, add the number rolled to the attack roll. If you hit, the die is expended. simple, but I like it, and I'm glad it's not an exclusive. This should be the baseline for all of the other ones that we've listed so far, except these. Granted, I will say Observant Mind is objectively the best, period, just because you're an int class, but the others are nice for thematic and flavor stuff. Then we get Psionic Backlash. Immediately after creature, you can see it hits you with an attack roll. You can use a reaction, expend a Psionic Energy die, roll it, reduce the damage by that plus your intelligence modifier, or twice that plus intelligence. So, pretty hefty amount when you're reducing from 2 to 12 at first up to 2 to 24, not counting modifiers. So, pretty hefty amount, and the target has to make a whiz save or take half the damage. It is an all or nothing, but at least it's like, well, you're getting the other effect, which is what you really are using it for. So that's good. And it's a whiz save, so those are fairly reliable relative to other saves, at least. That one, it's rarely too high, which is nice. Then we get Psionic Guards. So basically, start your turn, expend a Psionic Energy die, and you're immune to being charmed and frightened, and have advantage on int saving throws. Niche, but useful when you need it. And you can use another Psionic Discipline this turn when you use it. So you can pair it with others, which I think is fine. Though we will get to weird quirk. Especially with this next one, Sharpened Mind. Once again, this is a start of your turn discipline. So you can spend a Psionic Energy die and roll it, and then basically you keep that roll for the entire duration, which is a minute or until you're incapacitated. So you get the benefits of bypassing psionics, so weapon attacks, spells, and features from Psion ignore resistance to psychic damage, which is nice. Immunities are still a problem, but those are very uncommon to see, so it could be worse. And it's not like it's poisoned where it's like, well, the immunities are the problem. So psychic immunity doesn't come up that often. Actually, any immunity besides poison is not going to come up that often anyway. Then we have attack mode benefit. So once per turn, when you deal psychic damage, which is annoying that it's only psychic damage, you can replace the number rolled with the number you rolled with the Psionic Discipline. And you can use this with another discipline that turn, which brings me to where I'm going to put a gripe in. I wish the attack mode benefit was not just psychic. Please add force to that as well. But with Psionic Guards, I think Sharpened Mind and Psionic Guards should be mutually exclusive and be more in line with each other, where it's like, okay, well, you can enter the Psionic Guard stance and get a defensive buff, or Sharpened Mind and get the kind of combat buff. So those are the disciplines. We've seen them all. So overall, my review of the new Psion Update. General thoughts on the base Psion and its disciplines. All around, this is better. There is still room to improve, such as the school-exclusive disciplines, but overall, I think it's good. And without further ado, I will see y'all next time. Halo Zoo, out.